Tell the audience how cool you are.
That's a strong exaggeration.
Music. Roll the music.
Welcome to the Dream Big podcast, where our goal is to find the biggest dreamers in the entire world and tell them their story to you so you can level up in your life and figure out the lessons and the little cheat codes in life and how to get better. And I could not be more excited about our guest today, Michael Unbroken, in his podcast room. If you don't know now, you know. It's behind us, this entire podcast. Michael, welcome to the Dream Big Show, baby.
Dude, I'm so excited to be here with you, man.
So fun. We just got done doing his podcast as well. Stay tuned for that one. But I'm going to start by just giving him a little introduction. Not only is this guy a master speaker, has changed the world himself, is dedicated his entire life to changing the world out there and making it a better place. But introduction, from homeless to hero, Michael Unbroken is the founder of Think Unbroken, best-selling author, award-winning speaker at a mutual friend, Grant Cardone's thing, and maybe others beside that, a podcast host, a coach, an advocate for adult survivors of childhood trauma. And since 2016, Michael has empowered over 100,000 trauma survivors to get out of the vortex, learn how to love themselves, and become a hero of their own story. Michael has spoken in over 80 countries, won investments from undercover billionaire Grant Cardone, undercover billionaire Pueblo, Colorado, and is on a mission to end
Generational?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I cut and pasted that. Is on a mission to end generational trauma in his lifetime. Welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about yourself. How's that introduction? Is that you?
That's
an ish. That's the website.
0.00001% of me.
I love it.
Yeah, man. It's exciting to be here with you, dude. I'm super excited, man.
I'm a huge fan. So I met you through the 10X community a little bit.
Yeah.
You came down to Undercover Billionaire Bootcamp after you heard about the show. You saw the show. I saw you a couple weeks ago at the 10X Bootcamp. I jumped on your back the minute I saw you. I got a lot of love and passion for you. And the next day he was like, man, I'm still hurting from that last night. But I was just so excited to see you. You've inspired me from the sidelines. I've watched you grow from the moment I've met you to who you are right now. And it's been so much fun on the sidelines, man. You are on a mission to change the world. You're not just an entrepreneur. You're a great human. And so I'm going to start with, besides how we know each other, tell me your story. It's a crazy story. So let's start there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I'm much love for you, man. I love getting to spend time with you and your amazing family and your awesome community. Look, here's the reality. I always preface this. I think this is massively important. People will hear my story and they will compare themselves to me. Please do not do that. We all have our own journeys. We all have our own stories. We all have our own things. So I'll put that out first and foremost, just because I think it's really important. When I was 4 years old, my mother, who was a drug addict and alcoholic, actually cut off my right index finger. And so you can see there multiple skin grafts, five surgeries, can't feel half of it, barely works most of the time. My stepfather, super abusive, like the kind of guy you pray is never your stepfather. He's our size. We're big dudes. He, 6'4", 220, would beat the crap out of me as a child. Imagine beating up a 7-year-old. Most of my childhood was embodied in massive poverty. I lived with over 30 different families between 8 to 12 years old. Getting bounced around place to place to place, living in vans, living in streets, living with strangers, all while growing up in the Mormon church. So added that layer to it. And then when I was 12, my grandmother adopted me. And you would think that'd be a godsend. In a lot of ways it was, because for the first time ever, really had some stability. But I'm biracial, black and white. My grandma's an old racist ass white lady from a town in Tennessee you never heard of. So insert identity crisis, right? I mean, my grandmother had a copy of Hitler's autobiography, Mein Kampf, on our kitchen table. Like I just want to give you context. Wow. My uncle, Aryan Brotherhood, in prison to this day, one of them anyway, of many. And so I turned to drugs super young. I was 12 years old the first time I got high. 13, I got drunk for the first time. By 15, I got kicked out of school for selling drugs. Been in handcuffs more times than I can count. And by the time that I was 18, I got officially kicked out. They were like, we're done with you. So I go to summer school. I don't graduate. They literally give me the diploma. They're like, dude, good luck. Let the streets take you. And I remember I was uninvited from every single graduation party. I'm the biggest loser in the whole school. They now have defunded the school because it was so bad. And I'm sitting in my car after getting fired from a warehouse job. I'm putting microchips in motherboards, 12 hours a day, 2 15-minute breaks, a 25-minute lunch. And I got fired, bro. And I was like, fuck. And so I'm sitting in my car. I have no high school diploma. I just got fired from this loser job. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I was like, you are not getting out of this car until you find out what it is that you need to do. And I just sat there listening to music. It was definitely high, by the way. But I was like, there's a solution in here. And it hit me. I was like, got it. I need to make $100,000 a year legally by the time I'm 21. And that became the cornerstone, because I was like, if I don't change, I'm going to end up dead or in jail. Got family in prison for life. I've been in handcuffs more times than I can count. My 3 childhood best friends have been murdered. Like, I knew where I was going. And so I just started applying for every job. I landed a job at 18 and a half with a fast food joint, become a GMIT, general manager in training. I have 52 people under me doing $1 million a year in burger and fries at 18 years old. Needless to say, I made every mistake an 18-year-old makes with other 18-year-olds. Use your imagination. Fast food's unforgiving. It's painful. I put on a lot of weight working there because you're eating garbage food every single day. And I'm on MySpace. I'll age myself a little bit. It's probably about 2006. I'm talking to one of my homies. He had just got a brand new Chevy Tahoe. I'm like, what? Hold on. You got a brand new Chevy Tahoe. You're the same moron I used to get stoned with and go to school every day. What are you doing? Put me on game. And he was like, I'm working for an insurance company. And Matt, my mind was blown because I didn't know you could do that. I would watch movies and shit as a kid. You see the guy in the suit with the briefcase. I was like, that's not for me. I'm from the hood. Like, this ain't gonna happen. Like, I come from this crazy background. Like, I don't know what this is. But the same thing that has always brought me success in my life happened in that moment. I saw someone else do it, and then it became a possibility. So for the next 2 years, all I did was get applied and did job interviews and got shut down by literally hundreds of insurance companies until one told me yes. I was about to turn 21. I landed a job, Fortune 10 company. We all know who they are. And as I was turning 21, October that year, I made my first check for $10,000. Needless to say, I spent it all immediately at the mall.
But you look good.
But damn, I look good.
Yeah.
And by the time that I was 25, I made almost $1 million. And my life on paper looked amazing. Got all this money, smoking hot girlfriend, driving an $85,000 Cadillac, best apartment in the city. On paper, it looked great, except I'm 350 pounds, smoking 2 packs a day, drinking myself to sleep. I'm high from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I'm cheating on my girlfriend, God knows how many times. My little brother tells me, never talk to me again. You're not my brother. I'm $50,000 in debt, and that Cadillac got repossessed. I'm making $150 a year, and I'm $50,000 in debt, living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Something's obviously wrong here. And I'm laying in bed one Saturday morning. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there smoking a joint, eating chocolate cake, and watching the CrossFit games, man. And it's like, for whatever reason, man, I was just like, this is dumb. And I pick myself up. I go look in the mirror. I remember being 8 years old, and the water company had come and turned our water off. Now, look, man, they were always turning off our water, our heat, our electricity. This was just a Tuesday to me.
Yeah.
Right. But for whatever reason, I go in the backyard, I grab this little blue bucket, go across the street to our neighbor's house. And for the first time, I stole water. And I was like, when I'm a grown up, this will not be my life. So here I am, 25, heading into 26. On paper, it's not my life, but I'm still that hurt, lost little boy. And as I'm looking in that mirror, I was like, you're breaking a promise you made to yourself. You're a liar. You're a cheat. You're a thief. You're dishonest. You corrupt everything that you touch. You don't take care of yourself. You don't love yourself. You're a piece of shit. And I was living everything that they told me I would be. I was living exactly into the person everyone said I was. And I asked myself a question, changed my life forever. I said, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to have the life that you want to have? Yeah. And you call it God, Spirit, Mother Nature, Batman. Bro, I don't know where it came from, but it was no excuses, just results. That was the answer. And for 13 years, that is how I live my life.
Wow. So you went from a pretty rough childhood to making some money, to finding out that money wasn't what it's all about, to now you're actually changing other people's lives.
Yeah.
So let's go there now. Like, so you've made the money, you've dedicated your life, and something sparked that. You're saying you don't exactly know what that spark was, but something was a spark. And so many people they could have made a million excuses. You didn't do that.
I did.
You did.
Until I stopped.
Okay, tell us that then first. And then I want to know next. How did you do that?
Yeah. Well, it was that mirror moment. Like, I was serious, man.
Yeah.
Like, here's what was going to happen. Like, I felt within 2 years I would be dead. I'm morbidly obese. I have no money. Yeah. I'm suicidal. My brothers will not talk to me. They will not talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, my girlfriend, for whatever reason, probably because she needed therapy too, was still dealing with my dumbass. And I was like, in that mirror, no excuses, just results. Like, I meant that shit. Like, I meant it. And I was like, what I do today was never a part of the equation. The only thing I wanted to be able to do was like get my shit together. Like, that was it, man. That was it. I just wanted to be okay with myself. I hated myself, Matt. Like, understatement. I hated myself. Like, there was nothing I felt like could be better in the world than me not being in it. And so when I made that declaration, it was from 26 to 30, man, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was 4 hard years of like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. And it was 1 step forward, 1,000,000 step backward. Like, fuck, man, I can't believe I just did that again. I said I would never do that again. Okay, cool. Let's start over. Don't do it again. Quit smoking, quit drinking, quit partying all the time, quit lying, quit cheating, start taking care of yourself, start doing yoga, start meditating, start going to therapy, start going to men's groups, leave the city I grew up in, go across the country, explore, find out who I am, do uncomfortable things I've never done before, group therapy, men's group trauma therapy, AA, NA, adult survivors groups, read all the books, go to all the conferences, all the podcasts, travel the world. Man, I literally, so one of the people in my coaching group asked me recently, as last fall, they go, what have you like really invested? I was like, I don't actually know. That's a good question. I'll get back to you on this.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know this, but if you want bank records that are really old, like, you have to go to the bank and they have to like literally print them off. And so I was like, give me all the bank records. I've had the same bank account for like 20 years. And I went back and they went and got all the bank records, and I took a fucking highlighter and I highlighted everything where I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that was a personal development therapy growth thing. And it's like $275,000 and probably 12,000 hours of education, of learning, of growing, of therapy, of coaching, of, being in the conference. And so when I said no excuses, dude, I meant it. I meant it because it was like, why not, man? I'm already at rock bottom. It's either dead or gel. Like, there ain't no in between. There ain't no kinda I'm going to be okay. It's like, I'm either going to elevate or I'm going to be dead. And so that's where it came from. And the thing about what I do now with Think Unbroken, like this wasn't the plan, dude. I was just like, I'm going to go run my businesses. I'm going to get my shit together. That'll be fine. And then one night I'd broken up with this girl I was seeing. This is when I was 30. So we're going on 8 years now almost. And, 7 years, excuse me, I'm 31. And she like got mad at me about some stuff, and she was like, you're broken. And I was like, people have been telling me that shit my whole life.
Really?
Since I was a little kid. Yeah. And I'm laying in bed, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was just like, nope, that's not who I am. That's not what I believe. That's not what I think. And that's where it started, man. And I never intended on coaching. I was just writing blogs. I was just posting stuff online, and people just kept asking me to help them. I was like, no. It's like, no, I don't want to help you. Yeah. This is hard, man. Yeah. This is hard, and you probably aren't going to take it seriously. And I had a couple of people just adamant about it, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Let's go.
I Love it. And I think a couple things out of that, but I mean, the student became the teacher, obviously, with where you're at right now, but do shit that scares you is something that you kind of said without saying it, but that's something we talk about all the time is like, you've got to do the uncomfortable, like whatever you do in life, and don't make excuses. Like we always say that we have that circle of control and things that are in the control and things that are out of the control. Like you couldn't control your upbringing.
No,
you can't. Like there's nothing you can do about that. And so many people have so many past lives, but instead of making this as a poor me, this is why I am who I am, there was a day that you just said, no, I can change this and I can make this happen, but I'm going to do it by doing a lot of things. And I think the other side of this is that you did so many different things. You just said, like, you rattled that off. I'm sure there's a million more behind that, but you probably went to one and said, all right, that didn't help.
Yeah, totally.
Let me do this. That didn't help. Oh,
Constantly.
This one. Oh shoot, there's a guy. I want to see that person. So it was so many people, I think, try it one time and are like, all right, I tried it out, but it didn't work out. And again, it's back to that circle of control, because you've got to find out where that, and it could be the best business person in the whole world, but you had a bad teacher. And so many students have a bad teacher and then they're not scientists or they don't want to be science or whatever it may be, but keep putting yourself out there and do the things that are uncomfortable for you to get more comfortable to where you're at right now. So it's leveling yourself up, and now you're leveling other people up. You know what I mean? So it got you to that like next level of where you're at. So talk about like Unbroken. What is Unbroken? Tell me about what this is. So you went from where you get to now you're a coach, you're a public speaker. Your podcast is one of the top in the entire world. I should have said that when we came out here. What's your podcast was ranked?
Yeah, I mean, we've been as high as number 32.
Number 32 in the world.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But that takes hard work, and that takes asking for help and learning things and staying up late at night and getting up early in the morning. But let's go into that. What is Unbroken? Tell me, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question so I can answer the question better. Are you asking me in terms of in general or in the entrepreneur and business space?
Well, I think
or
both. I think both.
Okay.
So I think if I heard this right, it came from an ex that said you're broken.
Yes.
And an aha moment that said,
yeah,
I'm going to unbreak this, and then turn into your business.
Yeah. So I've kind of always been an entrepreneur. I mean, at 8 years old, I was like stealing candy from the Big Lots and selling it with 100% margins. It was great. I sold drugs when I was.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Please don't. It's fucking stupid. Don't do it. I mean, I was selling drugs as a teenager. Like I was selling insurance in my 20s. Like I'm a salesman. Like it's just a part of survival for me, right? And it's interesting because I had to remind myself of that when I started this company. I was like, it's okay to sell to people. They need it. I'm not selling them stuff they don't need. And so the concept of it like really started because I was like, all right, how do I extrapolate all the information and data that I have through this experience, put it into something practical and palatable that people can consume that help them change their life, educate, and elevate them. Like that's what it really came down to. And so it started with blogging, then it turned into online programs, it turned into coaching programs, writing books, speaking on stages. And then the podcast was, even though the podcast is now probably the biggest thing of all of it, that was the last thing that I put effort into because it was just kind of like back burner for me. All of it's really simple, man. If I summarized it into like a sentence, help people transform trauma into triumph. That's it. That's the whole game. Everything that I do is driven by one concept. Can I end generational trauma in my lifetime through education and information so that another kid doesn't have to have a story like mine? That's it. That's the whole game. That's it. Doesn't matter. I don't care about money. I don't care about fame. I don't care about success. I don't care about anything. I care about, if I can make myself obsolete, I think about this a lot. If one day someone goes and picks up my book, or books, I've written multiple now, and they go, this is stupid. Who would write this book? Why? Child abuse? What? Get this out of here. We're going to go start our campfire with this. That means I did something that matters. And that's the goal. That's the driver. Because we live in a society in which we're split down the middle on a lot of things. And one of them, which it shouldn't be, like to me, I'm like, yo, dude, hitting a kid should be a fucking felony. Like you hit a kid, you should go to prison.
100%.
Like no doubt. And it's like, man, I'll prove it to you. Go look at the most polarizing thing I've ever posted on social media ever. It's a flow chart. One side of it says, should you hit your kid? The answer goes to no. The other side, should you hit your kid? The answer goes to yes. And then it goes down the flow chart and says, you're an idiot. and people, and then I'll explain, like, because I want to,
Yeah, for
shock.
sure.
Yeah. And then I'll go in and I'll go into the research of it and I'll break that down and explain it. And people are like, they are destroying each other in the chat. Oh, I got hit. I'm fine. My dad beat me all the time and I turned out okay. I started a business. My mom was abusive, but I'm like, oh yeah, really? Are you okay? How's your relationship? Are you communicating with your wife and your husband? Are your kids talking to you? Are you morbidly obese? Are you chain smoking 2 packs a day? Do you drink yourself to sleep at night? Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
You sure? And so like what I'm trying to do is just create and position all of this information just in the world into the ether and go, here it is for you. Knowing I cannot impact or change anyone's life. That's what's really messed up about this. Because even though it's the very singular thing that drives me, I know that it doesn't actually matter unless you choose to do something about it.
That's powerful. So, I think of, my platform and, my purpose in life is parents and entrepreneurs. That's like my 2 favorite topics I could talk about all day, every day, and being better humans, but, in juggling the difference. But I think of, when you think of childhood drama or childhood trauma, you're one of the experts in the world. And I've watched a lot of what you've been able to do. I've seen transformational success story after success story after success story. But some of us define that as I was beat as a child. Some of us define that as, I grew up poor. But there's way more to that. Everybody's got childhood trauma in some which way.
Oh,
it could be
100%.
that you were the rich kid and you were spoiled rotten and you were enabled and now you don't understand how to love. There's a million different things, but talk about childhood trauma and how that affects us as humans. And what is childhood trauma? Define that for me.
Yeah. And look, everybody's going to have a different definition of it, right? And you can go look at a lot of research, but for me, this is my opinion and the way that I look at it. It's not the cuts, it's not the finger, it's not the scars, it's not the burns on my body. Like that shit was an experience. It's the aftermath. It's the collateral damage. It's the thing that keeps you trapped 30 years later. Like that to me is the trauma, because you can heal. Like your scars will eventually fade and the burns will wound over and all of those things, but the emotional impact of that does not go away without doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like I'm like, you ain't never going to listen to one podcast and your life's going to be different. So you stop lying to yourself right now.
Yeah.
And looking at it, you're right. It doesn't have to be the big things. Now, of course, the big things are easy to point at, but like, what do you do when you're in 3rd grade and your teacher comes up to you and it's in the middle of class and you guys are coloring the house and you make the house purple and they go, Matt, the house isn't purple. And she laughs at you and it's an innocent thing. Like she's not trying to belittle or demean you, but all the other kids laugh too. And subconsciously the brain goes, oh shit. I'm getting ostracized from the community. They're laughing at, they're shaming me. And the one thing that you ever wanted to do was be an artist and create and paint and use this thing that fulfills you. And now you've stuffed it down because of fear. But people don't understand it's actually an autonomic response to stress. The brain goes, don't paint, Matt. Don't color, Matt. Don't you remember what happened in 3rd grade? That didn't feel good, did it? I don't want that again. Let's protect you. And so the very thing that protects you is the very thing that keeps you stuck. And so if you can kind of paint the picture and lay out the dots and connect them across the timeline, look, here's the reality. Life is linear. Whether you like it or not, there's a start and there's an end. The in-between is so variable, it's insane. It's like the chart goes up and down and left and right and side to side, and you have no idea what it is. Yeah. But in between that start and that finish, if you can start to navigate the experiences of your life that are keeping you stuck, you'll have success. Know thyself. Like this is the greatest gift anyone could ever give themselves. Go deep, get introspective, sit in the chaos of who it is that you are in your head and solve the problem of who am I? Because when you can name that, you can give yourself freedom. I'll give you a perfect example. Like my mentor and I, one of the things that he always asks, he's like, how are you interfering with your own success? And I'm like, that's a great question.
Yeah.
How am I interfering with my own success and keeping myself from being protected and promoted into the future? And there's always something, right? And so for me, the biggest thing until I met him, which he changed my life, David Meltzer, if you don't know him, he changed my life forever. Literally, I love him like a father. I told him one day, I was like, I don't feel safe to go deeper into taking this business to where it needs to be because I've been on my own my whole life. And until I met you, I didn't feel like I had somebody who had my back. Know thyself, because the ability for me to speak that helps him understand how he can best help me as his mentee to grow and build Think Unbroken to the next level. Right. And so the most important thing, I know that because, I mean, fuck, man, I just painted you a picture of my childhood. How could I feel safe in the world? Have I done the work? Yeah. Have I gone to therapy? Yeah, like for sure. Do I feel safe inside my own body? Yeah. But there's a level of risk I've been able to take until the last 2 years. Right. And then it was like, oh, when I had that feeling of safety, I was like, cool, I can go bigger. And that's why it's so important to be able to measure, like, how did I actually get to this place where the stuckness is, and what is it that I'm actually stuck in? Because that's where transformation happens. I know it's a very long answer to your question, but I want to give a lot of context.
No, it's a beautiful answer. I mean, I think there's so many layers that we could peel off of that, but I do think, like, from somebody listening out there, you know, as a father, I know you're not a father yet, but as a father, like, we control so much. The kids listen to everything we do and everything we say. And I remember listening to a Tony Robbins, one of his books on Audible, and he talks about a lady that had 2 children, and they were both younger children, and a friend came over and said, "Oh, these are your 2 kids." And they both attached to the leg. The little girl's attached to the mom's leg, and one goes, "Hey, nice to meet you," and the other one's holding on. And the mom's response was, "Oh, this is my shy daughter. This is my outgoing daughter." And forever, they will be known as the shy daughter and the outgoing daughter because her mom told her that.
Yep.
And I believe as a father, dream big is the only option I can tell my kids. And it is support them in everything that they do and tell them that everything is capable, and don't let the school system of the purple building tell you that you're not supposed to have a purple building, because you can have a freaking purple building if you freaking want a purple freaking building.
100%.
Do what you want to do. But I'm saying this because it relates to your significant other, my wife. If I don't support her in everything that she does, it pulls back. If she doesn't support me in everything I do, it pulls back. There's a subconscious that goes in there after so many times that you just go, all right, I'm just not going to do this.
Exactly.
And from a parent standpoint, let them do shit that you might not think is okay. Let them do other things outside. And if they paint on the wall, it is what it is. Like, don't beat the heck out of them, because I just believe we've got to let people be, let children explore and be free and make mistakes for themselves and really understand. And I'm not saying to teach them to be good humans, teach them right and wrong, but don't ever stop them because you were stopped.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, give me some tools as a parent or as a colleague or whatever it may be to help avoid some of this. What tools would you give somebody out there?
Well, and like you said, I'm not a parent, but I've coached lots of parents, and I don't think this is rocket science. Like, realistically, I don't. And so, but I want to create context to be like, you don't have kids. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, I was one. Yeah. I have some experience in it,
100%.
you know, and I think the most important, like, if I could go give anybody a piece of advice around it, especially with, like, not fucking your kids up too bad, is knowing that you're going to fuck them up at least a little bit.
Right.
You're like, it's inevitable. Just understand that, right? Like, you're not going to get out unscathed. You have to give them the freedom to explore and correct them in a way that isn't detrimental to their well-being. And what I mean by that is, like, kids are not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it is mind-boggling to me the way I see adults talk to children sometimes, where I'm like, they're probably smarter than you because they haven't not yet been indoctrinated by the limiting beliefs of our school systems, right?
Absolutely.
Of our teachers, of our communities, of our television, right? And so they're think about this. Here, I'll give you the greatest piece of advice I've ever given somebody ever. Think about this. When you're a little kid, you have kids, you know this happens. They will get anything that they want, won't they? Here's how they do it. And this is the same thing that I think that you have to give them support in. They just beg you until they wear you out.
Yeah.
Bro, dad, no. Come on, I'll do the dishes. No. I'll do the dishes and I'll vacuum. No. I'll do the dishes, I'll vacuum, I'll eat them. No. I'll do the dishes, I'll vacuum, I'll eat all my broccoli, I'll clean the house, and I'll get straight A's. No. I'll do shut up. Fine, here.
Go ahead.
Here.
Yeah.
God, just shut up.
It's
just
true.
leave me alone.
It's true.
You have to give them the like, kids are the greatest salespeople ever. Yeah. Instead of, like, destroying their ego, let them earn it.
Yeah.
Let them create the front. You want that?
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Do the dishes, vacuum the floor, eat your broccoli, go to school on time, get straight A's. It's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours. Right. And we kill kids' dreams immediately, man.
Yeah.
Just because you're scared.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Ed Milet say something, man, this is, oh my God, I wish I would have said it. Like if I had the time machine from Back to the Future, I would go punch Ed in the face right before he said this, and I would say it. He goes, one of the things that people don't understand, that sometimes childhood abuse is watching a parent not live out their dreams. And I was like, yo, that's so true. Only thing I ever watched my mom do is lie and cheat and steal and take. My grandmother be on welfare and raise kids that weren't hers. My stepdad be abusive. His mom be abusive. Like, that's all I ever saw. I never saw dreams. There ain't no dreams where I come from, man.
Yeah.
And so when I was like trying to navigate the world and figure out who I was, and my influences were Jay-Z and hip hop and movies and books, it was like, okay, cool. I'm only living into something I've never bear witness to in any realistic capacity. And so I'm sitting here like, okay, go. Imagine if, Matt, I would have said, I want to make $1 million a year by the time I'm 21. I guarantee I would have done it. Because I made the 100,000, and it's what Grant Cardone talks about. It's the same problems, different zeros.
Absolutely.
Right. And so you give your kids permission to go fail big. I'd rather my kid, like, I know this for certain. There's 3 things that's going to happen. 1, they will never go to public school. 2, I will never tell them they can't have their dream. And 3, I will support them into anything that they want, no matter how crazy it is. And I will let them fail. I'll add 4. I will let them fail on the way. Because I've never done anything without massive failure on the way.
Yeah.
Right. And we want to protect our kids. Dude, I don't protect my clients. I don't protect my friends. I'm like, go get it. Go figure it out. And I think if you're willing to do that, there's going to be days that are going to suck.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't do well at the wrestling meet. I know. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Hey, I failed the test. I know, because you didn't study, did you? No. All right, cool. So you don't get to do this thing this weekend. You know, and it's like Patrick Bet-David talks about, I'm always studying dads. I don't have kids, and I don't have a good example of a father, but everyone always tells me I'd be a great dad, but I'm always studying. I'm always studying them.
You still got time.
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, we've got to find a girlfriend first. So
baby steps.
Baby steps. Like anything in life. But he talks about, like, I saw this video. He bought his kids a Lego Batmobile. Yeah. And it's on this shelf. They can see it every day. They have to walk by it. But the only way they get to build the Batman is they have to read like 20 books. Could you imagine? You're like 10 and you're like, I got to read 20 books. Before I could do this. Talk about the ultimate delay of gratification. That's the thing I think that people, I probably have a million ideas about this not having a kid, but all these same things I implemented into my own life. Man, I want to be the #1 speaker in the world. Great. I probably can't go on vacation. I probably can't go have fun with my friends. I probably can't do that thing over there because I'm driven. I want to have a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, cool. Well, I can't go get drunk every night. I can't get high. I can't play video games, even though I want to play video games.
Absolutely.
Right? I want to have a great body. Cool. I used to eat chocolate cake for breakfast, Matt. I was 350 fucking pounds. That ain't an accident. It takes as much energy to destroy your life as it does to build your life. And I think if you just support people in the right direction, they'll be fine. Yeah. Just give them a direction.
It takes as much energy to destroy your life as to build your life.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I believe that.
That is absolutely powerful because it's very true. You know, and I think of these stories and I just think of dad lessons and so many beautiful lessons that you just gave there. But I think the other side of that is communication, is as I believe as a parent that so many parents don't listen to their kids. Mm-hmm. And I would have taught you after my first kid that I was good at this. I'm going to write a book about how parenting is. And then I had a second kid and it was completely different. Like there was nothing that I used on the first kid that was going to work on the second. And then the third one was the absolute opposite of both of the other two. And it's like, okay, there is no book for a reason because everybody is different and they all have their own personalities, but you've got to listen. And I remember, Thanksgiving break, we were in Florida and I was with my kids and I made a conscious decision to have a different meal with each kid on this little vacation. And I remember on the second day, I talked to my son and I just said, hey, what's going right in life? He's an 8-year-old, 7 maybe. Yeah, he's 8 at the time.
That's a crazy question to ask a kid.
What's going right? And what do you want? And and what do you feel like I could do a better job as a father? Wow. And I remember saying, what can I do better as a father and what's going on? And what he said, I'll never forget, because he looked at me and he was like, yesterday, you took Paisley's side on this argument, my daughter. And I'm probably going to cry now thinking about this, but he was literally like, you took Paisley's side because I hit her because I was stronger, but you didn't see what she did to me before that, Dad. And that hurt. And I'll just never forget that moment, because I was like, you're absolutely right. And I changed as a parent that day, because he's the tougher one. He's twice her size, so he could beat her up. So I instantly attacked him for hitting his sister.
Sure.
But I never asked like his side of the story. And as a parent, I think we have to, you know, you gotta listen. You know, everybody's different. And at the end of the night, we do this thing that's like the 3-2-1, three best parts of the day, and I wrote a children's book called Make It a Great Day. 2 challenges and one thing you look forward to for tomorrow. And by doing that every day, my own children, I think, oh, it was when they won the basketball game and Paisley got this trophy yesterday and dance. And it was like, no, Dad, it was when you hugged me and told me that it's going to be great. Everything's going to be okay, or whatever it may be. So I just believe that communication and listening and being vulnerable, we talked about this on your podcast, of being vulnerable. Humans are so tough that we just think we're the parent and we're not allowed to, we don't need to ask that. We don't need to ask how we could be better. But by asking that question, all 3 of my kids, my son, the 3-year-old didn't have really an answer for that, but the other 2 had something so beautiful about what they wanted out of life that I would have thought was different, and what was challenging in the last few days, or how they see their sibling. And I think it's so powerful, from communication to being business partners, to being a husband and wife, to being a father, to being whatever it is. You got to listen. You know, you can't just talk. And all these points that you just gave us today, I think, are huge points of parenting. But everybody's a little bit different too. You know, like one size doesn't fit all. You know, however you grade these children or something, one might think it this way. But I say that because I think the childhood trauma could be just one of those. Like if I continue to Parker reprimand him instead of his sister every single time because I didn't take the time to listen, he's going to grow up different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. And what happens is, like, from a kid's perspective, I remember being young and I would get blamed for things that I didn't do or not seeing the other side. And it drove me to go and do the thing that they had blamed me for.
100%.
And that was
kids.
And that was crazy, because I'd get in trouble for like stealing the car, like stealing a car. I was like, I never stole a car before. And then I started stealing cars. Like, literally, that was the path. Like, my grandmother, probably because she was a crazy person, would say shit like that. And I'd be like, I literally have never done that. Like, what are you talking about? And I just kept hearing it and hearing it. I was like, fine. Okay, cool. You think I steal cars? I'll go steal cars. Yeah. And part of it is like rebuttal. Part of it is like, absolutely, this. And so I agree with you, man. It's like, and communication matters in everything. 100%. I mean, it's a corner. So there should be 5, because communication is massively important.
100%. Yeah. And I think follow through of that communication, I think, is the other side of all of this. Because to your point, is if, you know, they tell you not to do something and then you do it and they let you get away with it. So it's really like, how do you fix it? You know, finding out what the challenge is in the kids' lives, because I know I have an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old right now. And I know it's going to get harder from here on up. When they get into their teens, they're going to listen to me less and less and less and less. You only have so many chances right now, but I know when they become teenagers, to your point, if I tell them one thing, they're going to be doing something completely different.
I think as long as they don't get stabbed in a nightclub in Pueblo, you're good.
It was an alley behind Safeway. All right. It wasn't even, it was an alley, but yeah, I did go back there and film something someday. But yeah, so let's talk about success. You know, you've talked about that word so many times.
Yeah.
And what that means to people. But what define success? What is success?
Man, it's different for everybody. And I think that's what people need to hold on to. We get caught up in these ideals of what success should look like according to other people. And I'm like, I've made massive failures in my life chasing success. And it's like, I would rather, if I could go back in time, dude, I think about this. Anyone who says they don't have regrets is a liar.
100%.
Right. And my thought with regrets is, I won't have regrets when I die as long as I do the thing, you know, but doing the thing comes at a price sometimes. And, you know, I've made horrible mistakes in relationships and friendships with money, chasing this thing that I'm trying to build and create, that and look, we have to learn. Like, ultimately, you only learn through failure. And I think, like, I'm setting myself up for incredible success because I've had incredible failures. But my success is really only dictated off what I want. Like, I see There's people who have the private jets and the fancy houses. I don't want that stuff. Like I could care less. Do I want to fly first class everywhere? Yes, it's an incredible experience. I love to go from homeless to flying first class is just so fun, dude. I fucking love. Like, yes, bring me the mimosa, bro.
Yes.
But like, I don't need a private jet. Like, I don't need that responsibility. I don't want to make $1 billion a year. I want my lake house. I want my Audi. I want my girl. I want my kids.
Yeah.
I'm good, bro. I want to wake up every single morning, walk downstairs, open my giant floor to ceiling windows, sit at my computer, write the next book, watch the sunrise over the lake. That to me is success. Like, can I get there? Can I impact millions and millions of people around the world? Can Think Unbroken be a brand that can stand on its own, that I can remove myself from, bring more coaches under me, bring more people under me to support it, right? I don't want all the things that most people want.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't even fit in Ferraris. What am I going to do with one? Probably one of the perks of being tall, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I think that you have to get nuanced in it.
Yeah.
Every single year, twice a year, I do this for 4 to 7 hours is generally the window that it takes. I write down everything I want. And it literally takes that long. I get into the nuance about my health, my wealth, my relationships, my family, my hobbies, my goals, my travel, my finances, everything. Dude, I get so nuanced, it's actually kind of insane, right? Where I'm like, I know exactly the kind of cedar that I want on the side of that lake house.
Good for you.
Because then I have something to move towards, because I didn't used to have goals. My goal was like, literally at 18 years old, my goal was like, don't die. And then I was like, okay, cool, didn't die. Now what do I do?
Done.
You
That's
know?
my success.
And and look, dude, a lot of kids from where I'm from did die.
That's crazy.
My 3 best friends got murdered, man.
Yeah.
One of them got shot in the head. One of them got stabbed behind an alley. One of them, I won't even get into, but it's like, you look at that and I'm like, they're not here.
Yeah.
My brother, one of my little brothers, he lived in Afghanistan, multiple tours there in Iraq, and he did that whole thing. I couldn't get in because I hurt myself. And, it's like one of my brothers is a cop, and it's like every single day, lives are on the line, bro. Lives are on the fucking line.
Amen.
And then it's like, and you're scared to go for it. You're worried about some debt. I love this. Let me tell everybody a secret.
Tell me.
So I'm sitting with an oil billionaire. I won't say who. I'm sitting with an oil billionaire. We're having dinner. This was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Just by the circumstance of the room I was in. I'm at the table with him and a couple other people. And we're talking. He goes, I'm going to teach you the secret he taught me. Because success, I'm going to give a little context. Success is whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you willing to give to get it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to cost you a lot.
Absolutely.
Like either way. I hope it doesn't cost you what it cost me, but it's going to cost you something.
Absolutely.
That's just the nature of it. Well, for him, it cost him bankruptcy. There's a trick in America. People don't know this trick. I'm going to drop some knowledge on y'all. Full transparency. Do not listen to me. I am irresponsible. I am uneducated. I am not the person to ask. Go get advice from people who should advise you. But I will say this, there's a get out of jail free card for entrepreneurs in America. It's called bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And what happens is America is a capitalistic country built on the foundation of entrepreneurship and money.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to succeed. The more you succeed, the more the country succeeds.
Absolutely.
And so when you put it all on the line and it doesn't work, you get to file bankruptcy. This guy that I'm sitting with having dinner this particular night 2 years ago has filed bankruptcy 3 times. Today, he is worth $3 billion.
It's a cheat code.
It's a cheat code.
Yeah.
So you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's not a ramification
Right,
of
for
filing
sure.
bankruptcy. Like,
You gotta get stronger and smarter.
don't
If you're
just
gonna
be
do that too.
Yeah, don't just be stupid and be
gotta
like,
learn.
I'm gonna go buy a jet, right? But it's like there's safety in the risk.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't hope that people do that, but it's like, you want success, put it all on line, man.
Absolutely.
Mortgage the house, sell everything in the apartment, go and invest in the program, go to the event, spend the $97, the $997, the $19,997.
Right.
Invest in yourself. Dude, I've spent so much money, I can't even count it anymore, just trying to get better. trying to go to the next level, trying to reach this success. And then the other cheat code I'll give people, and this is one that I sit with, I try to teach my clients, create your 37-year plan. 37 is an arbitrary number. It's just a number I came up with one day. And people are like, man, you've done so much. I'm like, bro, I'm 37 years away from my goals. The things I want to do, I'm 37 years away. And in 37 years, Matt, they're still going to be 37 years away.
Nice.
I'm always trying to pull myself into the future,
Yeah.
trying to make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, knowing I've never felt like the happiness that comes from reaching most of the goals I've reached in my life lasts for about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's never about the goal. It's about what can I accomplish in this timeline. And so, but here's the thing, man, we live in this culture where people will say what's next, and then they'll go, man, shouldn't you be happy? I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
I know people have private jets and I know people have helicopters. Like, I literally know them.
Right.
Like, I don't want those things. I don't care about those things, but I want what I want.
Right.
And so until I get that, and when I get that, there'll be the next thing. And people go, man, you're never satisfied, are you? And I'm like, why would I be?
Right.
There's nothing but abundance in this universe if you're willing to go and have it. And I don't have it yet. I'm probably still a long way away from it, but I show up every day. And that is success for me. Show up, put it on the line, know that there's safety nets, pick up the phone, call people. I could probably call you and be like, dude, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. Can I have $1,800?
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me? And I probably know 30 people like that. Can I come crash on your couch for a year? I interviewed Ken Honda. He wrote a book called Happy Money. Ken Honda is one of the wealthiest people in Japan. Another cheat code. I'm just going to drop all the cheat codes today.
Hit him.
He goes, if I'm ever in trouble because of the willingness to serve other people, I know that I always have a couch to sleep on. And I have a friend, and I could probably call them and say, hey, can I sleep on your couch for a year? I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a long time, but like, bro.
But if you treat people right,
If you take care of
you surround
people,
yourself with good humans.
yes,
That's 100%
success to me.
I love it.
Value.
Yeah,
All of that narrowed down is into one word:
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, I love that. And I think of, the big picture. And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we think 37 years from now and we think so big, but to micro that down, some minor cheat codes that I've learned in my life is, do 5 things a day.
Yeah.
What 5 things today would be success of
Yes.
today that will add up to this month, will add up to this year, will add up to the next year, will add up to 37 years later, because otherwise we can get caught up in the crazy chaos of life and go home and go, what did I get done today? What happened today? Like, I don't even know if I accomplished anything today.
It's a dangerous place to be, man.
It really is. So like writing them down is something I've just started journaling. We actually had a little group this morning and we all got journals. I gave everybody journals and I'm like, this is a new challenge for me, is to write down every morning. Okay, what am I going to get done today? And then write down like what you're saying, just like write down for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes, because there's something that comes out of you putting it on paper. It's not just thinking about it and running so fast, because I run fast and it is obnoxious sometimes to people around me, because it's like, but it screws up sometimes things because you run too fast and you got to think of, okay, what did I miss? And how do I learn from what I just did? Thinking big is great, but you got to micro that out. And we do Traction. Have you ever heard of the book Traction?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So our whole company's gone through Traction, and it's about rocks, and it's about taking this 3 months rocks and turning that into daily, into weekly, into accomplishments. But without having that, knowing where you're going, you don't know what 37 years looks like. And success, the other thing I like to tell everybody is like, success could be money, but we've both talked about, we've been around millionaires and billionaires in our life that are not happy. Don't define success from a jet or a cool car. Like, I want a jet just because I want to go from A to Z. I want to go to 3 places in the same day. That's my only goal in life. It's more of a convenience than it is anything else.
100%.
That's all I want a jet for. But other than that, like, I'm going to wake up every day happy because I am blessed with more problems than people would love to have my problems. You know what I mean? But I have a beautiful wife that adores me and that I adore. I have 3 beautiful children, and every day's a great day because I make it a great day, and that's the choice that I make. But success is, you got to write it down and you got to really think about that. Don't let Michael Unbroken's success be your success because it sounded really cool, or don't let mine be your success. What is your success? Figure that out and run fast that way. And that can change monthly or weekly or yearly. It's okay. But you need to find out who you are and what you need out of life. What is that?
Yeah. And look, here's the hard truth about it. And most people don't want to admit this. they're more afraid of success than they are of failure. We're used to failing. We fail all the time, man. We've been failing since we were little kids.
Amen.
You know? And it's like, if you give yourself permission to be successful, it will happen.
100%.
It probably won't happen overnight. And that's the mistake people make.
Yeah.
You know, we're 7 years in, really 7 solid years into building Think Unbroken. Nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in 13 years of this healing journey and I'm still going to therapy. I still got a mentor. I'm still reading the personal development books. I'm still going to the conferences.
100%. Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, for me, I've really sat in the not what, but the when.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that lake house, I want that more than anything. It's on my vision board. It's something I think about. Like, I watch YouTube videos about lake houses.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy. I'm just putting it in my brain all the time.
Yeah.
If I don't get that shit till I'm 88 years old and I die the next day, I did it.
You're getting it.
I did it.
You're getting
and
it.
that's the thing people need. It's like, go, just get it, man. Doesn't matter when. Stop being worried about the when. Time's not even real anyway, bro. You're 40 years old because somebody told you you're 40.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are. The universe doesn't care. The universe only cares is, are you showing up? And these dreams, in the same way that kid's begging you, you got to beg the universe.
Yeah.
Go to the events, read the book, show up, do the podcast, do the work, until the universe is like, God, shut up, Matt. Here, have all of your dreams.
Take it.
Have all your dreams. I get it. You want it bad
Absolutely.
enough. How bad do you want this shit, man?
Man. Yeah, Grant Cardone said he did 11,000 free stages before he got on these stages that he's on right now. You know,
Dude,
it takes that energy. But I think if you talk about failing, and I think so many people from the outside in on this show called Undercover Billionaire that I was on, like I failed so many times before I met Grant that it was a piece of cake to do it again. Like,
Totally.
and it almost looks like it was scripted by the time I met him. Like, all right, let's open a business together. And it was because I had put myself out there so many times. And we talked about it earlier. It's like, just do it. And I learned that early on is like, positivity is a muscle. Being a dad is a muscle that you learn. I think being an entrepreneur is a muscle. It's something you build over time. And it's like, you're never going to wake up and be like, all right, I could be a dad today. I'm successful. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go buy my first house, or just do it. Just do it and figure it out as you continue to grow. And by the time I had met Grant Cardone, I had made so many failures and successes that it was just another, all right, let's chalk this up and I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? But it was almost like divine intervention. And I was sitting in my life. If I would have met him 2 years earlier or 2 years later, who knows? Yeah. But it was that moment in my life that I'd owned several businesses and it was a guy saying, let's open a business. Whereas so many people would have been like, no, I'm not ready for that. And it was the timing was everything, but you got to fail to be successful and you got to continue to fail or you're not pushing yourself.
I don't even know how many businesses I've failed.
Yeah.
I literally can't count it.
Yeah.
It's like gotta be 25.
Yeah.
Probably. But I've had 3 go really well.
That's what matters.
You know? And it's like the next, like I'm probably in the process of failing one right now because I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I have business mentors. That's why I have people who guide me and coach me. That's why I go sit in rooms with guys like Brandon Dawson, and I'm like, I'm dumb. Why am I even running a business?
The same way.
Every single time I'm around
when I went
him.
to 360, I was like, I know nothing about business. I went in there so confident that I'm going to be like one of the guys in the room that really understands business. And I walked out and like, I don't know anything. Like, I am failing.
I've been an entrepreneur legally. I've been an entrepreneur legally for like almost 14 years.
Yeah.
The best business I've ever been able to build is about 5.6 million. Okay. And I was like, I know some shit.
Yeah.
We got teams.
Yeah.
We got a suite.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I know nothing.
Yeah.
This is just dumb luck that I've been able to do this.
But that's the room you're in. And then you're going to get another room that's going to think you need to be in those rooms that people
I want to know what room
you need
Brandon's
dumbest
going
room.
in, man.
Right.
What room's that guy going in?
What rooms is he going in that he's not the smartest guy in the
Yeah.
room? Yeah. That's a good question. Same one that Gary's in, because Gary, when you talk about health, I think he could be by any Harvard graduate, doctorate in the entire world, and he's going to tell them that they don't know what they're doing.
Totally.
Gary Brecka understands the body and things that nobody else understands.
And but that's the game, man, because when I used to always make sure I was the smartest person.
Yeah.
Always.
Sure, yeah.
And
comfortable.
And that did not help me. And in fact, it hindered me and it made my life worse.
Point.
And I'm so glad now when I'm around people. I mean, like, for instance, the personal development space, trying to step into being a name mentioned with the likes of the Lewis Howes and the Marie Forleos and the Stormy Wellingtons. It's like, I'm getting there, but I had to go get a mentor who is there, who could teach me how to get there.
100%.
Because I've been spinning my wheels where it's like, bro, I've seen the money that these guys make. I've seen the impact these guys make. I see the fun that these guys have. And and women, just using guys generally. It's like, yeah, cool. The same way that I made that $100,000 working for that insurance company is the same way I'm going to make $100 million in personal development, because I'm just watching people who have done the thing.
Get in the room and asking, you know, and we talk about this because we're doing Undercover Billionaire Boot Camp here, and we've got some amazing people come from all over the world that'll be speaking at this event, including yourself. We're excited to have you here. You are a master at what you do, and we've got a lot of people coming. But it's one thing to get to those rooms, which is amazing, but then it's a whole nother thing to use that room. You know what I mean? To ask the right questions or find the guy that was on stage that said, "Oh, that story resonates with me. Yes. That guy can help me."
Yeah, 100%.
Go ask him. Unless he's a total asshole, then move on from that and go find a different mentor. But you got to ask the question. You'd be surprised how many people will take that time and energy and exchange phone numbers with you for absolutely for free. If you're that guy that's starting and has no money, ask the question. And if you get 17 no's and then the 18th guy, that guy was meant to be in your life for a reason. Yeah. And you got to put yourself out there. Get in the room, but more importantly, use that room.
Yeah. And sometimes no doesn't mean no, man. Right. I emailed, I share this publicly. I had back and forth with Lisa Bilyeu, Tom Bilyeu's wife, the founder of co-founder of Quest Nutrition, co-founder of Impact Theory. I mean, they're worth more money than God. And I emailed her 37 times to get her on my podcast.
Nice.
And it wasn't until 37 that she said yes. Yes. Because sometimes it's wrong time, it's wrong space. Yeah. Got a tummy ache today.
Right.
Like sometimes this is fucked up. I'll admit this. Sometimes I test people. They're like, "Hey, I want you on my podcast." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Hit me up in 4 weeks."
Yeah.
I don't hear back from most people.
That's great.
Because I want to know, like, are you serious? Because I take this very seriously. Yeah, I know people listening are like, that's egotistical. Maybe, but I just want to know how serious you are, because my time is the only resource I don't get back. Yeah. And if you got a new show, you got 20 episodes, I don't know that you take this serious yet. You got 200? All right, we're having a different conversation. Sure. And sometimes maybe I think about that too. Maybe they don't think I take this seriously enough yet. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. I get that. Mm-hmm. Like, I respect that. And so when it's like, no doesn't mean no. Contextually, don't cancel me, people. No means no sometimes, damn it. But generally in business, no. I'll put it like, in business, no never means no.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So just keep trying, man.
100%. Yeah, and to your point, like if you're trying to get Grant Cardone to answer his phone, it probably won't happen on day one, or his email. But if you get to people that are in that circle, at some point, you just keep leveling yourself up, and then you name drop the last person you got to get the next person. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's about life.
Yeah,
know?
It's jab, 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 right hook.
Exactly.
You know,
100%.
if you read that, like I got onto Gary V's show 10 years ago. I'm one of the early people to ever be on Ask Gary V, because I got to India and I got to D-Rock, and now I've, you know, blah, blah, blah. You fast forward all this time, man. And it's like, you can't always get to the top guy. Yeah. So start with like the bottom guy. Like it's like the mob, you know? Exactly. Go to the guy who's picking up the envelope if you want to get to the boss. Go watch Goodfellas. It's actually how you do business.
I love it. Yeah. Gary V is, he's one of those guys that he just seems like he's doing it for the right reasons. Like he genuinely cares.
Yes.
It's not about the money or entrepreneurship. It's about making a difference. And he says it in every cuss word that he can throw it out there, but he's doing it for the right reasons. Tell me, like, how was that with Gary?
Yeah, great. I mean, you know, I think, and I look at anyone that I've been able to spend time with. I mean, I could name drop. It would take me the rest of our day to name drop the people I've been lucky and fortunate enough to be with. But I only surround myself with people like that. Yeah, I love it. I don't surround myself with takers. I don't surround myself with liars. Here's what's really interesting, man. And people will point to a guy like Grant. Well, let's talk about Grant, because he's been a mentor for both of us, right? And to a lot of people. But for people who don't know him, just go read his social media. People destroy that guy.
Oh, yeah. Do
you think if Grant was a piece of shit, he would have invested in my company?
Right.
You know, like really, like think about that for a second. If he didn't care about well-being of humanity, would he have invested in Think Unbroken? Would I be able to be like Grant Cardone as a business partner, more so that he took zero equity?
Yeah.
Tell me that.
Yeah.
No. And so, dude, the people that you're surrounded with is everything, man. Everything. And I'm very careful about my circle.
Yeah.
Very careful. I'm not letting you in.
I love, and in the thick skin, that's something that I've learned from Grant that we talked about earlier too, is like, you can't get to the top without having haters. And it is unfortunate, but it is the world that we live in. And, you know, I was an elected official in Pueblo, Colorado for 4 years. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get to politics was to understand it and to understand being hated a little bit. Because if you open your mouth, 40% of people are just going to disagree with you. It's just, it's politics. It doesn't matter what you say or how great of an idea it is. They don't care. You know what I mean? And Grant has taught me that so well because I see it. Like the bigger you get, there's just people that are haters for no reason, that have no context behind it. They just want to hate.
Yeah. It's so funny, man. I got the first 1-star review the podcast has ever had the other day.
Really?
400 5-star reviews, 1-star review.
Really?
And I thought to myself, 400 to 1 ain't so bad.
Right. Why are you being a hater though?
But like, I don't even remember what it said. And it's like,
so,
like, I could use that in a lot of different ways. I could beat myself up about it. And I'm like, here's what I think about all the time, Matt. The worst thing that's ever happened to you has already happened.
Yeah.
So why are you worried about it, man? Why are you worried about it? Like, your water got shut off as a kid. All right, cool. Already happened.
Yeah.
You gonna let that stop you?
Yeah.
All right. Best friend got murdered. All right. Yeah. Sorry. It sucks. Fucking sucks. You gonna let that stop you?
Right.
You know? And there's a healing process that has to take place. I don't think it's just stuff it down. Like, that doesn't work. I tried that. You end up being 350 pounds, smoking yourself to sleep every night. Yeah. Right. And so, like, I think the most important thing that you can do is just understand, like, people will not like you.
Yep.
Who cares, man? Who cares? Because I guarantee you that the energy that those people are using to hate on you is eclipsed tenfold by the people who want you to succeed.
Yep. And if they don't want you to succeed, get out of that room.
Yeah, they need to be away from you.
Get out of there and
Bro,
don't watch that.
If I shared my dream with you just
now.
now and you were like, I don't know, man, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Lake house, giant windows, Audi, girlfriend, wife, kids. Yes, I don't know. Probably not for you. I'd be like, you need to leave the office right now, sir.
Get the heck out of here.
Bye.
No, 100%. And that's and take that as good advice. Anybody out there, if you have somebody in your, get them out of your office. Get them out of there as quick as you possibly can.
Your team too. Fire your team.
Pull you down.
We fired this person. I won't get into detail. Let me be cautious how I say this. In one of my companies, at some point in time, we let go of a person who was incredibly negative.
Yeah.
4 days into the job.
And that kills companies all over America. There's this culture of being the most talented salesperson or most talented video, whatever it may be, but with negative energy, move on. I don't care how much money they're making for you, because they are pulling that back in, and so many, they're ruining everything you're trying to work for. So get it out of there.
You have to.
I got a million other questions, but I know we're at an hour right now. So I'm gonna close this down here.
Okay,
so,
cool.
You know, what question would you have liked me to ask you on this podcast so far? And how would you have answered it that I didn't ask today? Let's go with that.
Not that one.
What did you want to tell people that they don't know? That's my second to last question.
Not that one either.
That's my second to last question. What did you want me to ask?
Look, here's the way my brain operates.
Yeah.
I don't do well in that space. Like I work better in specificity. That word. No, look, I think that if I could give anyone any advice, like really, really out of all this, like, you can go listen to this again. There's a lot of gems in here, but ultimately it's really about one thing. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. And I think you should ask me this question. How do you learn to believe in yourself?
How do you learn to believe in yourself?
Here's the answer. Go do hard things that scare you. Go do hard things that terrify you. Go do hard things that feel impossible. Because as you do that, or before we started recording, you said, man, you're great on stage. You're a killer. And I'm like, I know I am. I believe that. I believe I'm probably one of the best speakers in the entire country. That is not hubris. I have proved it time and time again. I've spoken in front of 2 people and 10,000. I've gotten investments from people. I've had people come up to me and be like, that changed my life. Like, I've paid my dues to be able to be really, really, really good at this. But I sucked at the beginning. Really, really, really bad. And so if you want to learn how to believe in yourself, go continuously do incredibly uncomfortable things consistently. I forced myself to go do stand-up comedy every week for 2 years.
That's incredible.
I forced myself to go do Toastmasters every single week for years. Yeah. I forced myself to go do every single event I could possibly put my hands on for years. And I still suck. Yeah. But I'm better than most people.
So great. Do shit that scares you.
all the time.
Anything that scares you, run as fast as you can.
Not
in that
even
direction.
not even scares you. A lot of stuff scares people. I want to nuance that real quick. I know we're over time, but let me go into this real quick.
Yeah, no, I don't.
The stuff that people scares them is everything. Do the stuff that moves you towards your goals that just happens to also be scary.
I like it. The uncomfortable. So, Dream Big is the name of this podcast. And, you know, I'm a mattress guy. So I think of so many different things when I think of Dream Big. You do it when you're sleeping, you do it when you're awake, but I don't think people do it enough. I think dreaming big and then dream bigger and then dream bigger and bigger and bigger is a problem with the world that we live in, is we get stuck in this 9 to 5 and we get stuck in this rat race, and that we have to do what we have to do to survive. And it kills souls early on where they just get stuck. What does dream big mean to you?
Yeah. To me, it's like, why not? Why not you? Why not me? Everybody else, like I grew up having no dreams. Like, I wasn't joking, dude. The only thing I cared about being a kid, I was like, don't die. Like, figure out something to make it, to just get out of this. And so I'm like, if there's a infinitesimally small percentage chance that you could even be here, maybe there's a reason you are. Like, being a human's pretty dumb. Like, if you really think about it, like if you really break it down, like, what are we? We're animals. We just happen to be the apex predator.
Yeah.
If sharks were the apex predator, it'd be a very different world we'd be living in.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we are the smartest. We are the strongest. We are the most intellectual. We are the most capable of adaptation. And it's like, bro, everything in life is adaptation.
Yeah.
You have, like, people are like, I want to win a championship. You have to become a championship caliber player to win a championship. And you're probably not, because you are trapped in small thinking because your mom told you you're not capable of doing it. Well, the truth is, the person in the way of your dreams sometimes is your mom. Check your people, check yourself, and go for it. Because why not? You're not supposed to be here anyway. You know how many babies weren't born? You know how many people died in infancy and birth? You know how many generations it took for you to be here in the time? We live in the greatest time in history. Yeah. There has literally statistically never been a safer time to be alive, ever, in the history of the world. We live in a time with more access to information than any time. There's more information happening per hour than there has in the entire timeline of humans. It's like everything you want, you can have. You're just scared because of all of the things that happened in your past that told you, don't dream big, be comfortable, be safe. And I'm just like, bro, the worst thing that ever happened to me already happened. If I go bankrupt, I don't care. Yeah. If I lose another finger, I don't care. If I wake up and I find out that my whole company has collapsed on itself, I don't care, because I'm going to pick my ass up and I'm going to do it again.
You go smile that next day, baby.
I might not be smiling, but it's going to happen.
I like it.
I will use anger.
I love everything about it. So, you know, ultimately, I mean, I learn a lot from you, and I still continue to. I enjoy your company and what you're doing for the world.
Thanks,
When I think of generational wealth, I think of Grant Cardone and so many people that push this money thing. And I think of something that Gary Brecka taught me was like generational health. And where, you know, you get healthy, your kids can be healthy, and understanding breathing and all these different things that I've now gotten in meditation and stuff like that. And I think of on a positive context, is there's something that I learned today from you and from others, is that generational trauma can be fixed. Like, there is generational trauma that could go from, it could have continued on with you, and you stopped it. You know, and you stop that generation, and you are changing your stars for every generation from you going forward. And that is so unbelievably powerful in this world that we live in. Like, you have that control. You can change the stars of your life. And you're not just changing your life, you're changing your kids and your kids' kids, and your lake house's kids that are going to sit in that lake house and go ice fishing in that lake. And is it going to be Colorado?
It definitely will not be cold.
There's no way. So, and they're water skiing in that next generation, whatever they're doing. But I'm just saying, like, you change that generation. You can change that. How do we get a hold of you? How do we follow you on this journey as you continue to change lives out there? Just a big honor to be on this podcast with you. I think that you brought so much to my own life. I'm thinking differently right now, but how does this audience find you? And somebody that's out there, if you see that you're in a position of trauma, there is help. And if you don't think you have trauma, you got trauma somewhere, somehow. It's there, and there's help for whatever that it is. We are not perfect humans. That is the beautiful thing about life too, is we all have challenges and tribulations to make us who we are today. But you can help people. How do we follow your journey? How do we continue to watch you become the biggest on every stage in the entire world? I will be there front row to watch this as I continue to watch your journey. But how do we follow you, man?
Yeah, dude, it's been an honor. This has been super fun. I can't believe we blew past all that time so fast.
It's
that
crazy.
never happens.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere at Michael Unbroken, all the socials everywhere, Michael Unbroken, and check out the Think Unbroken podcast. We have over 600, almost 700 episodes now. We've interviewed everybody. So it is an honor. Go check it out. Go, and if you need help, you need support, message me. I will literally reply to you.
Yeah, and I think I saw somewhere that you have a every Monday mastermind.
Yeah.
So people can join your mastermind, and it's in a group setting. So if it's intimidating to go to this, there's other people like that. There's other people that have been through there, and there is help, and we all have trauma. So you can join your mastermind. How do they do that?
Yeah. So we do weekly coaching every single Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. I don't know Eastern, I always forget. But it's that time, and all they have to do is just go to keys.thinkunbroken.com. It's month to month. You just come and you go as you please.
Love it. My friend, you are making this world a better place. I'm honored to know you. I'm excited to go on this journey of life together and continue to help each other grow and get into each other's circles and kick the people out of our circles that don't belong in our circles as we continue to grow this, my man. So you've listened to another episode of the Dream Big podcast with Matt Smith. And next episode, we're going to bring some big dreamers out there. But the goal with this podcast is to get you to think differently than you did before this podcast and bring people into your life like Mr. Michael Unbroken himself, who is making the world a better place, and the cheat codes to help make your world a better place, because nobody's perfect. We all need to dream bigger. And follow us for the next journey of Dream Big podcast. I go Unbroken from the Unbroken. Last time in this studio before this man moves to Vegas. Let's go. We out.
All right, man.
Let's go, baby.
Right.
Woo! He's good. That's it.